Good evening and welcome to MBN TV. My name is Naade Degogo. We begin tonight with the major stories making headlines both locally and internationally. Moving on to the major headlines, stay with us. Eyoko re-arrests former NAFCO CEO and wife RS after Attorney General drops charges. In business, Ghana heads to London Summit to rebuild investor confidence. And on the international front, Morin warns Strait of Hormuz standoff raises risks of escalating conflicts. You can watch us on all our social media platforms at MBN 360. We have the details of these stories and more. Now the news in detail. In a dramatic twist to an already controversial case, and the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EYOCO, has rearrested the former CEO of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, NAFCO, and his wife, just hours after the Attorney General Department discontinued charges against them. The move is raising fresh concerns about due process, prosecutorial constituencies, and the independence of state institutions. The unfolding developments have stained legal observers and sparked public debate. The former NAFCO boss and the spouse, who were earlier facing charges related to alleged financial inappropriate, were cleared after the Attorney General entered a newly prosecuted, effectively dropping the case. But before they could regain full freedom, EYOCO stepped in. Sources confirmed that the couple was picked up again shortly after their release, this time by EYOCO officials, under what the agency describes as ongoing investigations into related financial matters. While EYOCO has yet to publicly detail the basis for the rearrest, insiders suggest it may be linked to fresh evidence or separate lines of inquiry not covered under the discontinued charges. The case is already fueling political reactions, with critics questioning whether the justice system is being used selectively, with others urge EYOCO is simply fulfilling its mandate to pursue economic crimes without fear or favor. Meanwhile, the whereabouts and legal status of the couple remain unclear, as their legal terms is expected to challenge the latest move. This is a developing story. We will continue to track updates, including any official statements from EYOCO and the Attorney General's office, as well as reactions from across the political and legal spectrum. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has strongly condemned the controversial Carnival Kingdom Festival, describing it as mortally troubling and culturally inappropriate, while calling on state authorities to launch a full-scale investigations into events, organizations, and content. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is raising serious concerns over the recently held Carnival Kingdom Festival, sparking a growing national debate over values, public decency, and regulatory oversight. In a strongly worded statement, the bishops criticized the festival for what they described as a display of content inconsistent with Ghanaian moral and cultural standards. The conference is demanding an immediate probe into how the event was approved, who authorized it, and whether existing laws governing public events were branched. The bishops are urging agencies such as the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture Ghana, and the National Commission on Culture to take decisive action, warning that failure to act could set a dangerous precedent. Organizers of the festival, however, are yet to respond publicly to the accusations. Meanwhile, sections of the public remain divided, some defending the event as a form of creative expression, while others back the bishop's call for accountability. As pressure mounts, all eyes are now on regulators and government to determine whether the Carnival Kingdom Festival crossed the lane and what consequences may follow. Ghana's Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has defended the government's decision to reject a proposed health agreement with the United States, insisting the move is aimed to protecting the country's health sovereignty and long-term national interests. Government says Ghana will compromise its control over critical health policies as it prioritizes sovereignty in decision-making within the sector. Speaking on the matter, Health Minister Kwabena Mensah Akando justified the rejection of the proposed deal with the United States, stating that while international partnerships remain important, they must not undermine Ghana's autonomy in shaping its healthcare system. According to the minister, the terms of the agreement raise concerns about external influence over key health priorities, including policy direction, procurement frameworks, and long-term system planning. He stressed that Ghana remains open to collaborations, but on terms that align with national priorities and ensure sustainable, locally defined health care development. The decision has sparked mixed reactions, with some stakeholders praising the government's firm stance, while others warn that rejecting such partnerships could limit access to funding, innovation, and technical support. Observers say that the debate highlights a border question how Ghana balances global cooperation with domestic control in a sector critical to national security and public welfare.
What I would say is that, you all heard right from 2025 when a lot of aids were withdrawn. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, instructed the Minister for Finance to fill all the gaps and went ahead to champion what we call health sovereignty. We believe in Ghana that African nations, African countries must take their own destiny into their own hands. We should be able to expand or invest in the health sector. It's very critical. It does not necessarily mean that we don't need partnership. Health sovereignty does not mean isolation, but we need isolation, purposeful partnership, and then we need that partnership without strings attached. And so I would not want to comment into details the current MOU with the US, but Ghana is willing and ready to invest domestically in where we need or where it's needed most. So you rightly heard the uncapping of the national health insurance, where all the monies realized from the national health insurance levy is being invested in the health sector. So we are willing and ready to, already we are even exiting from some of this program. Gavi, they support us with a lot of our vaccines, but we are exiting. Last year, for example, our budget for the vaccines stood around 24 million US. We had the money to invest in it. This year, our budget is around 49 million US. We are investing in it because it's public good.
Moving on, the West African Examination Council says the 2026 Basic Education Certificate Examination (BEC) has begun smoothly across the country, with intensified measures in place to curb examination malpractice. The West African Examination Council is reporting a largely incident-free start with this year's BEC, as thousands of candidates nationwide sit for the crucial exams under tighter security and monitoring. WAEC officials say enhanced surveillance, strict invigilation protocols, and collaboration with security agencies have significantly reduced incidents of cheating and paper leakage that have plagued previous examinations. The council revealed that special task forces have been developed to identify hotspots, while supervisors have been directed to enforce zero tolerance for malpractice. Candidates found violating examination rules risk immediate disqualification and possible legal action. Education authorities, including the Ghana Education Service, have commanded the improved coordination, noting that the smooth start reflects growing discipline and awareness among candidates and exams officials alike. Parents and stakeholders are also being urged to support the process to discouraging any form of assistance that could compromise the integrity of the exams. The BCE remains a key milestone for junior high school students, determining placement into senior high schools under Ghana's education system. WAEC says it will continue to monitor the situation closely to ensure the exams proceed without disruption nationwide. Also, the executive director of Ghana Center for Democratic Development has shown support behind former President John Dramani Mahama's proposal to criminalize sex for jobs, describing it as a necessary step to protect vulnerable workers and restore integrity in the workplace. The push to criminalize sex for jobs in Ghana is gaining momentum, with the Ghana Center for Democratic Development backing calls for urgent legal reforms. The think tank's executive director says the absence of clear legal provisions has allowed exploitative practice to persist, particularly affecting young job seekers and women. He urges that criminalizing such acts will not only deter offenders but also empower victims to speak up without fear. President John Dramani Mahama has been advocating for the move as part of broader efforts to promote accountability and fairness in employment systems. His proposal has sparked national debate, with many civil society groups and labor advocates expressing support. However, some legal experts caution that enforcement will be key, stressing the need to clear definitions, evidentiary standards, and protections against false accusations. Gender advocacy groups also say the development is long overdue. We'll go for a break. We'll be back with business news. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055-5940-103 and 0241-972076. Locate us at Teshi Nungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
In business, the Ghana High Commission to the United Kingdom and Ireland has announced the Ghana-UK Investment Summit 2026, set to take place at Raffles, London as the OWO, as government intensifies efforts to restore investor confidence and reposition the economic for sustainable growth.
The historic Raffles landing at the OWO will host a crucial moment in Ghana's economic research strategy this June, as policymakers and global investors converge for the Ghana-UK Investment Summit 2026. Organized by the Ghana High Commission to the United Kingdom and Ireland, the two-day forum, scheduled for June 1st and 2nd, will focus on restoring investor confidence and unlocking shared prosperity between Ghana and its international partners. Under the leadership of the President John Dramani Mahama, the summit is being positioned as a turning point, shifting Ghana's narrative from past economic volatility to a future anchored in transparency, fiscal discipline, and policy credibility. Officials say the agenda goes beyond traditional investment promotion, instead aiming to directly address concerns from global markets about governance, regulatory consistency, and economic stability. By hosting the summit in London, a global financial hub, Ghana is strategically placing its reset agenda before top-tier investors fund managers, and development finance institutions seeking opportunities in emerging markets. At the heart of the government's message is what it calls the infrastructure of trust, built on 4 key pillars: transparency, economic resilience, fiscal discipline, and stronger collaboration with international investors. President John Dramani Mahama is expected to deliver a keynote address outlining these reforms as the administration works to reassure markets and reduce the perceived risk associated with investing in Ghana. The ultimate goal, officials say, is to signal that Ghana is entering a new phase of predictable, sustainable growth capable of attracting long-term institutional capital.
We'll go for a break. We'll be back with sports.
So there's some local fast food. Papa, me again. Yes, we are late. Me quite remember who hear me. Me and sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. See what we saw any. She has malaria. Malaria. Oh, what they say what the router. Me copy the absence. A draw in a friend router mixer. Yeah, come malaria draw. And running some Gap trap and the draw abaso body acid. Wabo Ruta mixture abaso. Ruta natural products in one Ruta mixture. Yeah, you could see a treat. Ruta tonic and the Ruta life for a who a feeling like the bunny, a fin per diem. Let's support the immune system. Ruta de Obiasia, FDA, I did drinking crap to your two.
In the world of sports, Ghana's road to the 2027 African Cup of Nations will officially begin on May 19th as the Confederation of African Football prepares to conduct the qualifying draw.
The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has confirmed May 19th as the date for the draw of the qualifier for the 2027 Cup of Nations. For Ghana, the draw will determine the Black Stars' opponent as they begin their quest to return to continental glory. After recent mixed performances, expectations are high for a strong campaign heading into the next AFCON cycle. The qualifiers are expected to feature nations from across the continent, all competing for a limited slot at the tournament, which will be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Football analysts says the draw would be crucial, with Ghana hoping to avoid early clashes with Africa's top-ranked sides. The Black Stars technical team is expected to closely monitor the process as preparation intensifies. Fans across the country will be watching closely as the outcome of the draw sets the tone for Ghana's journey towards AFCON 2027. The draw takes place on May 19th, with fixtures for the qualifier expected to be announced shortly after.
We'll go for a break. We'll be back with entertainment.
Say about the heartbeat
streets of entertainment, and one in the ultimate show with AJ Barker. Anne and painful say, Trini and Dawa, Yamonchain, Yana, what the hottest trend, the juicy gist, exclusive interview with your favorite celebrity, and NASA influencer, and your new phone, you best say the Asa, I will show you so HINASA. Kaina will say, if it is trending, we are talking about. If it is entertainment, we got you covered. And it's me every Friday, exactly 4 p.m. The ultimate show with AJ Barker is always a vibe.
The Ultimate Show, this and every Friday at 4 p.m. only on MBN TV. MBN, the gospel, news and entertainment.
In the world of entertainment, the 2026 edition of the Telecel Ghana Music Awards, TGMA, is heading back to the Grand Arena in Accra, reversing an earlier decision to shift the event to a different venue.
Organizers of the Telecel Ghana Music Award, TGMA, have confirmed that the 2026 ceremony will now take place at the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center, restoring the event to its traditional high-profile setting. The decision comes after a brief announcement of a venue change sparked discussions among industry stakeholders and fans, many of whom associated the awards night with the Grand Arena's premium production capacity and audience experience. The Grand Arena, located within the Accra International Conference Center, Grand Arena has hosted several major entertainment events over the years, becoming one of Ghana's most recognized award show venues. Organizers says the return is aimed at ensuring a bigger production scale, improved stage design flexibility, and a more immersive experience for both in-person guests and global viewers. The TGMA remains Ghana's biggest music awards platform, celebrating excellence across the music industry, from gospel to hip life, Afrobeat, and traditional music. The TGMA 2026 ceremony is expected to take place later this year, with nominations and category announcement to follow in the coming weeks.
We'll go for a quick break. We'll be back with international news. On the international front, security analyst Bowen is warning that raising tensions around the Strait of Hormuz could push the region closer to border military confrontation if diplomacy fails.
A leading security expert, Bowen, says the growing standoff in the Strait of Hormuz is becoming increasingly dangerous, with the potential to spiral into a wider regional conflict if not urgently contained. The strait, a critical global energy corridor, remains one of the world's most sensitive maritime checkpoints, where even minor escalations can trigger major geopolitical consequences. Bowen warns that recent confrontation involving naval movement and heightened rhetoric are contributing to a fragile security environment, increasing the risk of miscalculation between key regional and global powers. He noted that whilst diplomatic channels remains open, the current posture of involved actors suggest a high alert situation where any incident at sea could rapidly escalate beyond control. Energy market and shipping operators are also said to be closely monitoring development, given the strait's importance to global oil and trade flows. Bowen cautioned that without immediate de-escalation efforts, the situation could slide from tense standoff into a broader conflict with global implications.
Sudan has accused Ethiopia and United Arab Emirates of being behind coordinated drone attacks targeting a key airport, escalating already tense regional relations.
The government of Sudan is alleging that both Ethiopia and the United Arab Emirates played a role in orchestrating a drone strike on a major airport facility in what officials describe as a deliberate act of aggression. According to the Sudanese authorities, the attack targeted critical infrastructure at the country's main aviation hub, disrupting operations and raising fresh concerns over the widening regional impact of the ongoing conflict dynamics. The airport, believed to have affected in the Khartoum International Airport, which has already faced repeated disruptions aimed at instability in the country. Sudan's government says the alleged involvement of external actors marks a dangerous escalation, as called for international condemnation and accountability. Both Ethiopia and the UAE have not independently confirmed the accusation at this stage. The claims comes at a time when the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea corridor already experiencing heightened geopolitical tension, with fears that localized conflict could spill over into wider regional instability. Diplomatic observers say allegations, if further sustained, could significantly strain relations in an already fragile regional security environment.
This is the 6 p.m. news. Let's take a look at the major headlines. Iyobo rearrests former NAFCO CEO and wife RS after Attorney General drops charges. In business, Ghana heads to London Summit to rebuild investor confidence. And on the international front, Bowen warns Strait of Hormuz standoff raises risks of escalating conflicts. My name is Naya Dede Gugu. See you same time tomorrow. Have a very good evening.